chosen ones, empaths, narcissists across the world are as miserable as they come, and the narcissist involved in your life is no exception. How does the saying go? Misery loves company. And the thing is these narcissists, they can't live with you and they can't live without you. The narcissist you was involved with can't live with you and they can't live without you. When they're living with you, they're trying to make you as miserable as they are. They're trying to make you unhappy. They're trying to make you glum. They're trying to make you, they make everything gloomy and dull and boring. And this is the way they like to orientate themselves while being around your existence. And the thing is when you're out of their life, this narcissist you was involved with, whether you were discarded, reverse discarded, however it was, you had to cut them off for whichever reason, then it's like they can't live without you. And if you fall into the trap that many survivors of narcissistic abuse do, right? If you fall into the trap with this narcissist you was involved with, running the repeat cycle of, making and breaking up, you've got to understand that you need to make some finality with it. You need to draw a line in the sand and set your boundaries and make it clear that you're not interested in them. You don't want any part to do with them again. You need to make sure of that, because if you have this person you was involved with or are still involved with around you for extended periods of time, they're going to deflate you. They're going to drain you of all of your energy. They're going to make you miserable and sad and unhappy. And narcissists across the globe do this to their victims. It's actually because they're miserable themselves. They're miserable themselves. And I made a video recently, a few videos back, about the narcissist doesn't like who they are. And this is kind of branching from the same area. The narcissist who is involved with doesn't like who they are. They are miserable. And they feel more comfortable with the fact of you being miserable, of causing misery in your life, of inflicting misery in your life. This makes them feel better momentarily, but it's a catch-22, because the fulfillment that they gain is so short-lived that they're running into a repeat cycle of having to make you miserable again, And trying to break a chosen one and an empath down is hard work. Realistically, it's hard work for them. They have to constantly try and kill your spirit, right? And chosen ones, empaths, you have a strong spirit. You have a beautiful soul. And being around these creatures for extended periods of time is really going to take a toll on your health. So for all of you that are still involved with these narcissists, I'd advise you to get out. I'd advise you to draw a line in the sand and get away from them. I know that you may be financially bound together, children, etc. But there's always options, when it comes to children. There's things like parallel parenting. You can use the Grey Rock method. For those of you that don't know what the Grey Rock method is, it's basically just when they're talking about anything other than to do with you and the children, right? Or talking about the children to you, then you don't show them no interest. You don't converse with them about that stuff. You just Grey Rock them. And this is just as powerful as someone going full no contact. Because I understand that you may be in a situation and you're dealing with, you have children, you may have young children. But if you can use the grey rock method and perfect the grey rock method to the best of your abilities, this will teach the narcissist to stay in check, you know? So, for example, they say to you, oh, our son done this at school today. Then you can converse with them about that. Or they say your daughter done this at school today. Then you can converse with them about that. But if they're trying to make the topic of the subject about you and them, that's when you need to grey rock them. That's when you need to go cold as ice. That's when you need to not show any interest in what they're talking about. Okay? And that can be just as powerful. And parallel parenting is a very useful tool. I'm not that well versed on it, but I've heard it works well. At least it keeps you communicate through an app. It will stop them, and you meet in a neutral location to drop off the children. So therefore you won't have any unexpected visits at your house. You meet in a neutral location, it's going to work out better for you. So they don't just come rocking up to your house feeling like they own the place, you know. But these narcissists across the globe, these narcissists that have affected all of you chosen ones and empaths, these narcissists that were involved in your life or are still involved in your life, they're miserable. They're sad. They're sad, pathetic creatures. Please press the like and the subscribe button. Help your brother out. It will take 2 seconds of your time. Thank you. They're sad. They're pathetic. They're bitter. They're twisted. It's just their makeup. It's just how they're made. They're made that way, you know. As I mentioned in the video yesterday, I didn't want to touch on whether they're made or they're born that way or made. But for whichever reason, it's on a brain scan in the prefrontal cortex. You can detect a narcissist, a psychopath, a sociopath. You can detect them from a brain scan by looking at the prefrontal cortex. And this shows they're cut from a different cloth. This shows they're not the same as you. They're not the same as you. You have a beautiful heart. You have a beautiful soul. And it's a shame that this parasite abused you in the way that they did. It's a shame. But it is a very good lesson in life, because it helps protect you about future people that you may meet. You know, you will meet someone new. I know many of you are going to put in the comment section, I'm not ready for meeting anyone. I'm not ready for dating. And that's totally understandable. But by you learning these lessons that you've learned, this is the universe and God teaching you that these creatures exist. Because when you was asleep, they were able to infiltrate your life. They were able to get involved in your life. And they were able to get so involved that they were making you as miserable as they are. And the thing is they don't mind you being miserable, because if you're miserable and sad and unhappy and no, I don't want to say whining, that's the wrong word, but like you're complaining about how you're being treated, or you're trying to talk things through with them, and you're telling them how bad you feel about the way you're being treated. This is all supply for them. Positive or negative supply is still supply for them. And the only real way to defeat the narcissist is to literally cut them out of your lives. You know, it's the only way to defeat them. The narcissist you are involved with, they never truly let go. You know, they keep trinkets of previous supplies, memorabilia of previous supplies, whether it's clothes or jewelry, or they'll keep some kind of belongings of previous supplies as a remembrance. And that is very similar psychology to how a murderer, a serial killer, carries out with their victims, how they will take trinkets from their victims. And I know it may not be as severe as a serial killer, and I'm not saying they're serial killers, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's got the same, they adopt the same psychology to take these little tokens, these little trinkets from each one of their victims as some kind of memorabilia. And it's very weird, it's very deranged. And that's what, you know, even that's short-lived, you know. They never truly let go. You need to be the one who pushes them away. You're going to have the final discard. When you say it's over, you know, you could have been discarded, right? With this narcissist who was involved with. You could have been discarded. But they'll hoover, they'll do these things. They'll stalk your social media. They'll do these sorts of things. It's until you say to yourself, I'm done, you know, until you say, I'm done with this person, I'm done with this narcissist, it's over. There's no more room. There's no route for us to walk together no more. That's the stance you need to adopt, and set firm boundaries in place that you know that you'll never ever go back to them, and you know you'll never ever let them back into your lives. And when you reach that point, that is a beautiful place to be. That is a real beautiful space to be in, because you've truly accepted that this dusty weirdo is as miserable as anything. They're trying to drag you down. They're trying to make you as miserable as them. Like, you know, before you met them, you was probably a happy-go-lucky person, enjoying life, and you got manipulated into this tragedy of a situation with this parasite, you know? And you've got a lot of wounds and healing that you need to work on for yourself, by yourself, after this encounter that you've had with this narcissist. So just understand that they want you to be miserable like them. This is why they done what they done. This is why they abused you in the way they abused you. This is why they gaslit you, manipulated you, lied to you, cheated on you, stole from you. Whatever they done, this is why they done it. They wanted to make you unhappy, because they get a short-lived feeling within inside themselves of satisfaction. And they're constantly chasing that as like that's their dopamine rush, you know. Someone might have, you know, an empath might have a snack or a coffee or a cup of tea, or I don't know, smoke a cigarette or smoke a vape or do something to spike their dopamine temporarily. But a narcissist is in this real dark, twisted cycle of abusing other people to fulfill their dopamine rush, to fulfill their stimulation. And they just need to, like, the narcissist you're involved with, you know, I've read in the comment section, those of you that have actually attended therapy with them. And the thing is even with therapy, even if you go through the course of therapy with a narcissist, they end up portraying you to the therapist, who may have read about narcissists from books, but has actually had no personal experience with them. They may have met narcissists, but they haven't actually had personal experience. And the narcissist is actually able to shift the blame onto you and make you look like the bad egg, make you look like the bad one. And even if therapy is successful, let's say even if therapy is successful and the narcissist learns how to be more empathetic, and they learn how to be more loving, and they learn how to be more caring, the thing is, catch them at a bad day at the office or at work or whatever, they're going to resort back to their old habits. and their old ways. It's their natural inclination. This is the way, that they'll go. They'll go back to their old ways. They'll forget those learned, taught habits from therapy, and they'll resort back to their old ways on a bad day. So I don't truly believe there's any hope for narcissists across the globe. I believe that they are like an entirely different species, especially as is proven on a brain scan on the prefrontal cortex that they do have more dark matter across on the prefrontal cortex, which is the place for empathy. So this is what makes them devoid of empathy. If only they could empathize. If the narcissist could empathize, they wouldn't be a narcissist. It's as simple as that. If the narcissist was able to empathize, they wouldn't abuse you. They wouldn't put you through pain. They wouldn't try to hurt you. They wouldn't try to make your life miserable. They wouldn't abuse you. They wouldn't do none of this stuff. It's as simple as that. So that's why, for those of you that are trauma bonded, or you feel like, this is your one and only, or this is your soulmate, this is your companion, you feel like there's no one else in the world, it's like, you can do a lot better than this person. This person needs serious, serious help. And the thing is, do they even accept their narcissists? There's many narcissists on the internet that are awakened narcissists. But I believe an awakened narcissist is even more dangerous. I believe someone who's they're awakened, they claim they're going to therapy, they claim they're trying to help you, they talk on the internet, and they talk to victims of abuse, but realistically it's just supply for them, isn't it? But God's all powerful. God can do all things, the universe can do all things. Maybe there is hope for them. Maybe I'm wrong and there is hope for them. But from research that I've done, it seems to me that they resort back to their old habits, even if they go through intensive therapy, even if they admit fault, they admit fault, they look in the mirror, they realize what they are. They're ingrained with this toxic pattern of behavior. It's just ingrained in who they are. And everything's about supply to them. Everything's about supply. But the thing is if the narcissist just realizes, right? The narcissist just realizes this supply that they get from making you miserable is just a temporary fix. It's so it's not a permanent solution. It doesn't fix their problems. They might momentarily feel better, right? But then they go back to being miserable again. And even when they feel better in themselves, they can't show you that they're feeling satisfied with your pain, especially the coverts. They're not going to openly make it clear to you that they're happy that you're in pain. They're not going to openly do that. But that's the thing. They're not going to openly do that. But inside, they're feeling happy. Seeing you suffering, seeing you miserable, seeing you in pain. But it's not long lasting. It's not long lasting. It doesn't last long. So they're in this toxic cycle. So just understand that the narcissist wants you to be miserable like them. And a life with a narcissist is no future for you. It's not a good future for a chosen one or an empath. There's other enlightened human beings out there that do have reciprocity, that are able to reciprocate what you're saying, that are able to generate love from a pure place in their heart, that are able to love you wholly, that are able to respect your boundaries and respect you and treat you right. There's people like that in this world. They are. And the reason why I say this is because that's you. It's in you. You are that. You are a loving, kind, generous, courteous person. And you exist, which proves there's others that exist. So don't be bound by the trauma bond and the momentary love bomb. You know, don't be addicted to the love bomb, because that's what the trauma bond is. You know, you're abused, and you get a bit of love bomb, then you're abused, and you get a bit of love bomb, and you're addicted to that rush of the love bomb. And it's not a loving relationship. It's not what it's about. If you actually find someone when you're ready, when you take the time out and you actually really use discernment, the ability to judge well, and find someone that's true, honest, loyal, kind, loving, caring, empathetic, you'll dwell in tranquility in that kind of situation. You'll dwell in tranquility. It'll be a beautiful thing. There'll be trust, there'll be reciprocity, there'll be reciprocation. It will be a beautiful thing. With a narcissist, it's going to be a life of misery, because fundamentally they are miserable creatures and they want to make you as miserable as they are. They just do. It's just their nature. They want to make you miserable. They want to make you unhappy. They want to make you sad, because they've got this really messed up kind of psyche that makes them think that they're benefiting themselves by causing you grief, pain, hurt. They feel like they're benefiting themselves, when realistically, when they run through the whole process, they abuse you, they manipulate you, they gaslight you, they do whatever kind of abuse to you. Then afterwards, they're left feeling just as empty anyway. They're left feeling empty. It doesn't fulfill them. Momentarily, yes, they're fulfilled, but it's not long lasting. So it's a pointless cycle that they find themselves in. It's a very pointless cycle that the narcissist finds himself in. And they destroy their own children. They destroy their family. They destroy their friends. They destroy their loved ones, their partners. They destroy any decent person they come into contact with. They cause destruction in the lives of them, just for this temporary fix of a dopamine boost that makes them temporarily feel okay. Sorry, let me just have a sip of my coffee. It's a really sad state of affairs that these narcissists do exist in the world, and they're not even educated about themselves. You see, most narcissists go through life thinking others are like them. And that's why they suffer with a lot of trust issues. Narcissists across the globe suffer with a lot of trust issues. And they project these trust issues on you, when really they're the ones that are cheating or speaking to other people or doing whatever, you know. And it's just a really, really messed up situation they're in. And you don't need to be part of that. You really don't need to be part of that. People say, you know, pray for them, deliverance, do this, do that, do that. Like, it's actually on a brain scan. On their prefrontal cortex of their brain, they have more dark matter on their brains. That is the place of empathy. They're devoid of empathy. This all comes down to empathy. And at the start of every video I do, I address you as chosen ones and empaths, because you are that. You are. You're not the narcissist. So many chosen ones and empaths have been put through reactive abuse, and they're made out to be the one that is the abuser. They're the one that's made out to be the narcissist. But it's because they've been put through reactive abuse. And you have a special soul. You deserve so much more. You will find so much more. You'll find so much more, not only just in your friendships or your partners or what, like, you'll find this in your other pursuits in life, other adventures that you take, other pursuits that you choose to go down, other roads that you endeavor down. You know, like, you'll find joy in other areas of life. You know, so many survivors have literally made something of their life from dealing with narcissists across the globe. So many of you have started YouTube channels. So many of you have written books. So many of you have, you know, done music projects. So many of you have done other pursuits in life, started businesses, e-commerce businesses. You've all done it. And for those of you that are suffering in the early days, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. You will make it through. You know, you're dealing with soul ties. You're dealing with trauma bond. You're dealing with thinking this person was your soulmate. Once you break all of those ties, you know, you'll be a free, liberated individual. You'll feel free. This narcissist wanted nothing but misery for your life. That was their ultimate objective. And until the narcissist changes their outlook towards you, it's never going to change. Because all you did to this narcissist you was involved with is love them, care for them, comfort them, support them. I'm not saying you're perfect, but you done your best with your abilities at the time. You done your best that you could do. You were honest, you were true, you were transparent. You spoke hard truths. Hard truths. You spoke, empaths are very truthful. You spoke hard truths. You were transparent. You really tried your best with this narcissist. And this narcissist didn't change. They still wanted to make you miserable just because they're not doing their inner work for themselves. You can't do this inner work for them. They, you know, if they are going to change, they need to do serious inner work. Serious inner work. Serious inner healing. You know, they really need to do some serious introspection. You know, therapists, I don't believe it's going to work, you know, because it's just going to become a tit for tat. You know, if you go to a therapist with a narcissist, it's going to become tit for tat. They're blaming you, you're blaming them, and the therapist is getting paid heaps of money just to sit and watch you two argue, and then they're going to end up probably blaming the empath anyway. You know, the narcissist needs to go on a journey of self-discovery. The narcissist needs to go on a healing journey. The narcissist needs to do them things to truly try and change who they are, and try and, you know, they need to praise to God, to the universe, whatever their belief system is. They need to pray for empathy. They need empathy. They need empathy to be able to function like a rational human being. Even though empaths are on one side of the spectrum and the toxic personality is on the other side of the spectrum, people that are halfway in between the spectrum still have empathy. You know, a narcissist having a shed of empathy would make all the difference. They wouldn't put you through the abuse that they put you through. They wouldn't do it. So just realize that narcissists want you as miserable like them. They put you through the abuse to make you miserable because they're miserable. And until the narcissist really does some inner work and inner healing for themselves, by themselves, you know, there's not really hope for change. And even with that being said, it's a very slim chance that a narcissist is even going to change. So I'm not trying to give you no false hope now. I'm just saying that the narcissist isn't capable of this, because a lot of the narcissists won't be capable of this because they constantly need the presence of someone else, new supplies, this flying monkeys, this, that, the other. They're in constant, they never take time to heal and self-reflect and actually analyze and try and change their ways. They don't ever try to do that. They're just stuck and ingrained in a very toxic cycle of chasing this dopamine rush. And when they, through abuse, you know, through making you miserable, and then when they hit that, when they get that dopamine boost, it's short-lived and it runs out. Then they're back feeling empty again. So they start abusing again, and that's the cycle they find themselves in. So don't get caught up in it. You know, for those of you that are out, fresh wounds, you will get there. Just keep on healing. For those of you that are still involved with a narcissist, try to get out as soon as possible. And, you know, you can't fix them. I know you empaths out there want to fix the narcissist you was involved with. I know you do. But, well, not all of you, but some of you might want to fix them. You can't fix them. They're adults. They need to do self-discovery, introspection, and really they need serious help because they're ill. So anyway, thank you for watching today. Please press the like and the subscribe button. If you'd like to donate to the channel, you can find a link in the description box. And if you'd like a one-to-one session with myself, you can also find a link in the description box. Currently, I've got the secondary channel, spiritual channel. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.